Hey guys, it's me, Miss Mills, and welcome to Miss Mills Math Time. The whole point of this video is to help you out with solving systems of equations by graphing notes. So these notes are interactive, so you do have to watch this video in order to be successful on these notes. And once you're done, you can turn it in. And this video will be on the second slide of this notes. It's going to be right here, and you can watch it while taking the notes. Alright, so in my video, IXL AA1, I introduced you to what a solution is, what a system of equations is, and I'm going to do that again real quick so that you kind of get used to it. So same thing here, I'm going to go over it again. A system of equations, I know that sounds confusing, but it's really not. Think about it this way. You know when you have a bunch of fish, it's called a school of fish? Well, that's the same thing with equations. Two or more equations is a system of equations, okay? They're also a system where they use the same variable, so what that means is all the letters have to be the same in all of the equations. So in all of our equations that we're going to use in this class, you're going to always see an x and a y variable. There's going to be no other letters, just x and y. So in this case, all the equations you see will be a system of equations, and that's two or more. And again, in this particular class, you're only going to see two equations. When you get to high school, you're going to see more equations that you have to find a solution to, but in this case, you're only going to have two. But a system is just a bunch, two or more equations is going to be a system of them. And then a solution to the system, and this is really important, that is the ordered pair that makes all of the equations in the system true. So what ordered pair can you plug into both equations to see if it's true? When you did your IXLA1, it already gave you the ordered pair, and you had to find out, was it a solution? Well, in this case, you have to find the ordered pair. And from now on, that's going to be your job, is to find the ordered pair that is the solution to the equations. And there's multiple ways to do it. First way is by graphing, and that's what we're doing today, right now. And then there's substitution. And then there's another one called elimination. So we're going to talk about those, and it'll be all right. Okay, so here are the steps to solving. First, you're going to make sure both of your equations are in slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, and then you have to graph both equations. So you're going to graph both equations, and to do that, you plot the y-intercept first. We talked about this last week. And then you use the rise over run of the slope for the other points. Okay. So, and then you're going to, and then the solution to those, so once you graph both equations, the solution is where the lines intersect. It's where they meet. So let's say this is your first line, this is your second line. The ordered pair where they meet is going to be the solution. And that's how we're going to find it. So let's go over it. We're going to do an example. Alright, so these two equations are in y equals mx plus b form. Y is isolated by itself. We have a slope, and then the slope is always next to the x value. This first equation, I'm going to make it a little bigger. This first equation has a y-intercept, and then this equation does not. So let's talk about how to graph both of those. So the first step, we're going to graph this first one, y equals 1/2 x plus 3, and I'm going to use my pen for this. So I'm going to use this over here, and y'all are going to use it too. I'm also going to make it bigger, actually. Make it bigger. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to plot points, and then I'm going to make a line that will go through the equation, and that's what y'all are going to do on your side. You're going to create a line, and I'll show you the steps how to make a line. Alright, so the first step to graphing an equation, and we're just graphing this one right here, is first you're going to graph the y-intercept. So if you remember, the y-intercept is where the line crosses the y-axis. This line right here is the y-axis. The line crosses at a positive 3. So on the y-axis, you're going to locate positive 3. Positive 3 is right here. So that is going to be my first point. Okay? Oh, it's going to be right here. Okay, that 3. And then you're going to use the slope. The slope is 1/2. So your rise is 1, your numerator is 1, so that's the rise. I love my writing. And your denominator is the run, and the run is 2. So what I'm going to do is my rise is 1, so from here I'm going to go up 1 time, And then my run is 2. So I'm going to go up 1 time, and then I'm going to run 2 times. So 1, 2, that's my second point. Same thing. Rise up 1, run 2, plot that point. And then I'm going to go the opposite way too. And to go the opposite way, just to make more points, to make the line better, what you're going to do is you're just going to take the fraction, and you're going to flip the sign on the numerator and the denominator. So in this case, we have a positive 1/2. Well, if I wanted to go the opposite way, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to flip the sign. So I'm going to make both of these negative. So what that means is my rise is now a -1, so I'm going to go down 1. And then my run is -2. And to go negative on the x-axis, you're going to have to go this way. Because as you can see, as we move this way, as we move left, the numbers get smaller. So that's going to make them more negative. So I'm going to go down 1, and I'm going to run -2. Down 1, -2. And now I have enough points to go ahead and make my line. So to make my line, this is, y'all can do this on y'all's end too, is you're going to click line. That's crazy. And you're going to click the last right here, this ordered pair right here, 1, -4. Sorry, -4, 1, my bad. X value comes first, Y value second. -4, 1. And you're going to create your line by connecting all the dots. I'm going to bring this line down to make sure it adds up. I'm going to make it cool. Oh wait, no, I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to say I'm going to keep this as a line, and then click on it. No, stop. Click on it. I'm going to make it bigger. That's all I want to do. Yeah, so that's my first line. There. Perfect. All right, now I'm going to plot my other equation. So same thing here. In this particular case, I don't have a y-intercept, so what that means is the y-intercept is +0. So anytime you see nothing there, that means the y-intercept is 0, and this is what that means. It means, let me make this purple. It means that the y-intercept on the y-axis is going to be at 0. So when you don't see anything there, you can automatically assume the first point is going to be at 0. And then the slope is going to be 2, and anytime you see a number by itself, you're going to put 2 over 1, okay? Anytime you see a number by itself, you're going to put it over 1 to make a fraction. So the rise is 2, and the run is 1. So from my original point, I'm going to rise 2 times, 1, 2, and I'm going to run 1 time. Same thing here, I'm going to rise 2, I'm going to go over 1. And that's really all I have to do, because as you can see, this point right here is where both of my lines are going to meet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to create my line real quick. I'm going to make this one with arrows, and I'm going to go like across right here. I'm going to go a little bit bigger. I'm going to bring it down a little bit. Awesome. No, I'm going to bring it down. No, oh my gosh, this is so annoying. Let's not do that, okay? Okay, I want this a little bit. Okay, and I'm going to make it a little bigger. Alright, so where they meet is right here, and that ordered pair right there is going to be 2, 4. Because that point is at 2, 4. Okay, it's right here. On the x-axis, that's 2. On the y-axis, that's at 4. And when you write an ordered pair, your first number is always an x, second number is always a y. So on the x-axis, that was at 2. The y-axis, it is at 4. So the ordered pair is 2 over 4. Okie dokie. So that's it. That's the only point these lines have in common. Therefore, that is our solution. Okay. So same thing. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to graph the lines on this graph right here and find the solution. I'm going to find the ordered pair where both of the lines meet. So here's the case on this first equation, and I'm going to write it down real quick. This first equation is not in y = mx + b form. But the wonderful thing about equations, as y'all learned last chapter, is that you can move stuff around on an equation and still make it true. Okay? So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to change this original equation into one that'll work out into y equals mx plus b form. So what we want to do here is we want to make it to where the y is insulated, we have just the slope in x, and then we have a y-intercept. Okay? So here's how we do that. Here's our equation. The whole goal is to get y by itself. To do that, we literally need to get rid of everything else. So the first thing I need to get rid of is this negative 6x. And remember, the way to get rid of it is to do the opposite. The opposite of negative 6x is plus 6x. Whatever you do on one side of the balance beam, you have to do it on the other side of the balance beam. Okay? So these cross out, they're opposites. I'll bring down my 2y, and this is what I'm going to do over here. These are not like terms, okay? This negative 8 does not have an x next to it, so we cannot combine them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at this equation right here. The first part of this equation is this, number and then x. So this looks like this, okay? That's what I'm trying to get at. So I'm going to put this down first, okay? And then I'm going to bring down this negative 8. Since they're not like terms, I have to write them both out. I put my x first, and then I put the other one second because it looks like this, and that's going to make it easier for me. Alright, and then the last step is I want to get y by itself still. 2 here is getting multiplied by y. Anytime you see a number next to a letter, that means multiplication. Okay? And the opposite of multiplication is division. So we're going to divide it by 2. Whatever we do on one side, we have to do it, and I'm going to make this very clear, on everything on the other side of the balance beam as well. So I'm going to put divided by 2 over everything, or under everything. These cancel out, they're opposites. I'll bring down this y. So I finally got y by itself, so far so good. 6 divided by 2 is going to give me 3x. Negative 8 divided by 2 is going to give me negative 4. And guys, we now have an equation in y equals mx plus b form where I can graph my y-intercept first and then use the slope to graph the rest of it. Okay, so our equation is y equals 3x minus 4. So now let's go ahead and plot it. So to plot it first, we need to plot the y-intercept. If you remember, the y-intercept was a negative 4. Make this blue. So on the y-axis, I'm going to plot negative 4, which is right here. All right. Then I'm going to use the slope. Remember, the slope is always next to the x, and that number that was next to the x was a 3. It's a 3 by itself. And if you remember, when you see a number by itself on the slope, what you're going to do is you're going to put a 1 under it so it turns into a fraction. So the rise is 3, and the run is 1. So from here, I'm going to rise 3 times, 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to run 1 time, 1. Same thing, 1, 2, 3, over 1. I'm going to do it one more time, 1, 2, 3, over 1. So now I have enough points that I can make my line. So again, y'all can do this. Y'all are going to create your line, starting at here, and I'm going to trace my dots. Alright, there we go. Move that. Not move that. I want to move this. There we go. Or, no, I just want to make the line bigger so y'all can see better. Haha. Alright, so there's my line for my first one. So now I'm going to move on to the next one. Alright, so this one, second equation is already in y equals mx plus b form, so I'm going to go ahead and plug it in. I'm going to move this slightly to the left. There we go. Yeah, that works a little bit better. Alright, so I'm going to plot my y-intercept first. My y-intercept is a positive 6, and I don't have a positive 6 on here, but I'm going to assume it's about right here. Go ahead and put a negative 6 right here. Okay. Alright, and then it says my slope is negative 2. Negative 2 is by itself, so I'm going to make it negative 2 over 1. So here, from here, I'm going to go down 2 times, so 1, 2. And my run is still positive, so I'm going to go run 1 time. And that's my second point. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to rise -2 times, so I'm going to go down 2 times. And I'm going to run 1 time. Same thing one more time. Rise -2 times, run 1 time. And now I have enough points that I can make my line. And again, I want y'all to do this too on your side. So from here, alright, as y'all can see, where both of these lines meet is right here. That ordered pair right there is at 2, 2. So the ordered pair that y'all are going to write down here is going to be 2, 2. And guys, if you wanted to check your work on this, all you have to do is you're going to plug in this ordered pair into both equations just like you did on that IXL to make sure that it is true. Okay, so for example, on this one, let's go back to the IXL real quick. I'm going to show you. What you're going to do is you're going to write down your ordered pair. You're going to write down both equations, and you're going to substitute your ordered pair numbers into both equations to make sure that it works out. Alright, so let's go ahead and do it. Alright, so my x value is a 2, my y value is also a 2. I'm going to substitute this into here. So my x value is a 2, my y value is also a 2, and I'm going to make sure that is equal to -8. Alright, -6 times 2 is going to give me -12. 2 times 2 is going to give me 4. Well, -12 plus 4 is going to give me -8. Therefore, that does work out. That is a solution. So now I just need to make sure that this one works too. So same thing. My y value goes first in this particular equation, so I'm going to substitute my 2. My x value is also a 2. Now I'm going to solve. -2 times 2 is going to give me a -4 plus 6. -4 plus 6 does give me a +2. 2 is equal to 2, so it does work out. So if you do want to check your work, that's how you do it. You're just going to plug your ordered pair into both equations to make sure it works out. Alright guys, so that's all that this video is going to be about. Let me know if you have any questions. I know graphing on this notes is not going to be easy, but I just want to see your best attempts, and I just want to make sure you know how to graph on your IXLs. Alright guys, I'll see y'all later. Y'all have a wonderful day. Bye.